Welcome. Don't adjust your dial. Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host Michael Pickering. That's right. Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question. What's going on in the world today? It's Thursday, and time for that lo-fi global news. And we are heavy with it today, so fresh off the press. Source, BBC News, Latin America section. Bolivia's ex-president Evo Morales barred from Senate run. Okay, I'm just going to say wow to even the thought that former President Morales believed he would ever be allowed to run for office again. First, the quick story here. Then, the full rundown on the story. Here he was denied running because he didn't meet residency status requirements in the area he applied for. Simple as that. Currently, he's in Argentina. Before that, he was in Mexico. Before that, he was in Bolivia, but then left the country in self-imposed exile to Mexico due to a huge electoral fraud issue. Alright, let's see if I can do this quick-like. I know not everyone's into Bolivian news and politics. So here we go. President Morales was president for 14 years, 3 terms in office, term limited out, set up a national vote to get rid of term limits. That vote failed. He got his national courts to overturn the vote and allow him to run for a 4th time. So he did that in 2019. During the election, vote counting mysteriously stopped for 24 hours, then restarted, then he was declared the winner, then massive protests broke out after he was declared the winner, that culminated in him resigning from office and fleeing the country to Mexico, then to Argentina, and now he wants to run for state senate seat. Oh, breathe. Oh, and I forgot to mention that he's wanted by the government on charges ranging from terrorism to genocide. So you tell me, Lo-Fi Nation, Morales making a comeback to Bolivian politics? Because he can technically still appeal this decision that barred him from running. The election is on October 18. We'll be watching for sure. Next up, source, AP News International. And we never like talking about tragedy, but sometimes we just have to talk about what's going on in the world. The story, Afghan officials, Kabul bomb targets VP, kills 10 civilians. This tragic event took place in the country's capital, and was apparently targeting the country's first vice president. No one as of yet has claimed responsibility. This comes on the eve of more talks scheduled between the Taliban and the Afghanistan government. Talks that in many people's opinions actually would have been fruitful. This loss of life will bring with it doubt and mistrust between the two parties, even if neither of them are responsible. We'll keep you updated as we find out more for sure, though it could very well be that the perpetrators never take responsibility, in an effort to fuel mistrust between the two parties, in an effort to sabotage the peace talks before they accomplish anything. Like we said, we'll keep you posted for sure. Now moving forward, because we never move on from anything. Source, BBC News, Middle East section. U.S. to withdraw 2,200 troops from Iraq by end of September. For years, the U.S. administration has been insisting they intend to withdraw all troops from Iraq, stating it was time for the country to lead and handle its own security concerns. After these troops leave, there will only be 3,000 soldiers left in the country, and the intentions are to withdraw those troops soon enough as well, though no exact date has been given for that yet. A question to you, Lo-Fi listener. U.S. troops have been in Iraq since 2003, for 17 years now. Is it time to completely leave the country? And what will happen once U.S. forces leave? Write in, I'm curious your thoughts. And our following story comes from Reuters World News. Piracy. Other high seas crimes in Asia rise. Report. We've made Pirate of the Caribbean jokes and references on this show before. This, however, is not one of them. This report lists more than 50 cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, piracy, all taking place beginning in the 7 months of 2020. The locations generally centered around the Sulu Sea off the southwest of the Philippines, and the Malacca Strait in between Malaysia and Indonesia, not far from Singapore. These are extremely important trade routes, and some of the busiest in the world. And perhaps I should have led with this, but even though we have airplanes and we fly a lot of stuff to a lot of places, let me be extremely clear. The vast majority of goods in the world are shipped via the seas. It's way more cost efficient to send something on a boat than it is by an airplane. So real piracy in real shipping lanes in 2020? Yeah, this is an issue, peeps. We'll definitely be watching to see how this is addressed moving forward. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. Source, Africa Live, the BBC. Polls close in Ethiopia's controversial regional election. And talk about a story we're going to be keeping an eye on? This is definitely one of them. You see, what the BBC means when they say controversial regional election is actually what the Ethiopian government states is an illegal regional election. I already went off a bit about Bolivian elections, so I'll tone it down a bit just for a moment and save some for the update. The short version. You see, Ethiopia was supposed to have really important national elections this month. The government said, no go, due to current global conditions and all. This region here in the story said, yes go, we're having an election. Additionally, you see, they really don't like the current prime minister. But again, we'll save the rest for later. Just keep your eyes open and ears to the ground. There's lots going down in Ethiopia. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Good News Friday. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.